Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone, and a very good evening. How are you today? I hope you guys are doing good. So, welcome back to my class. My name is Teacher Farrawahida, but feel free to call me Teacher Farah. Alright, so first thing first, as usual, when you come into the class, please ensure that you come into the right class. Well, I've had students who got into the wrong class, so let's not make the same mistakes. Right, so this is the class for Form 4 English and with me, Teacher Farrawahida. So, as for today, I have something very interesting and fun to do with you. Well, since I know that the examination is around the corner, so for today, we are going to dive into your exam paper. Yes, you heard it right. Now, actually, it's not like the actual exam paper, but it is a model test papers where you can simply just buy them from the bookstore. Why? Why are we going to use this book? It is because, all right, if for me, if I am a student, I would want my teachers to expose me with how to answer questions. If I do not know how to answer the question, then I might do the wrong thing. Hence, 0 marks. Now, that is why the exposure of how to answer your exam paper is very important. Now, let's dive right into each one of them. Okay, so since this is an English paper, and as for today, we are going to do the paper one. All right, so paper one, or mostly known as the paper where you have MCQ questions, you are simply just gonna write, sorry, not gonna write, just blacken the dots, okay? Or you will be given the OMR question paper, or it is also known as kertas objektif in Malay. So for the OMR paper, you'll be given option A, B, C, and D. You have to blacken them. So for example, here A, and then you blacken it like this. Yeah. Right. However, please remember that you must use only the 2B pencils, okay? Not the mechanical pencil, 2B pencils. All right. Now, let's take a look at each part of the paper. So, in your paper, you will have five parts. All right. Now, let's take a look at the part number one. However, before I move on to the next stage, can you see the screen behind me? Is there anything like, hindering you from seeing? Am I lagging? You cannot hear me or something? So everything is good. All right, okay. So if let's say anything comes up, any problem at all, you let me know, okay? Because, well, I can see myself and I'm not really sure whether I'll be lagging. So you let me know and I can sort something out. Now, other than that, if let's say you have any question, any parts that you don't understand, or let's say I'm going too fast, as in like I speak too fast, or parts that you think you misheard or something, do let me know. No worries. I'm not going to judge you for any question you ask. Well, for me, I believe that we have different pace of learners. Okay, we have the slow learners, we have the advanced learners, or the fast learners. So we have different learners, right? Hence, okay, for those slow learners, don't worry, I got you. Okay, we're gonna do together and we're in this together. All right, so the first one is part number one. All right, so part number one, okay, part number one, you are going to need to answer question one until question eight, and it will be based on the given stimuli. So, the given stimuli, for example, like this is the stimuli, okay, or the stimulus that will be given for you. Now, for each of the stimuli, what are you going to do is you have to go through them carefully, but not taking too much time in reading them. Just read them, skim and scan, and then that's it. Now, okay, I'm going to go through with you the even detailed way on how to answer this. Don't worry, okay? Now, this one simply just read this and then read the question and analyze the options of answer. Why did I say analyze options of answer? Well, this is because if you do not understand the options of answer, then you're not gonna know which one is the best answer. You simply just gonna shoot your shot. We don't want that, okay? Because the percentage of students or the mark that we will get in result of shooting our shot is, it's gonna be average or even lesser than average. So we don't want that. I don't condone that. Okay, now that is the first part. Okay, simply just read the stimuli and answer questions. Now, this part number two. Okay, now for every student of mine, I will tell them that this is quite crucial. Why? Okay, now as a student or as someone who English is not their first language, right? I mean, I'm Malay. I am orang Malaysia, saya orang Melayu, alright? So, the English language is actually my second language, right? So this one, they tested us in terms of grammar and vocabulary. Okay, grammar and vocabulary. Now you might want to ask, what is this, teacher? I don't know though. Now, for this question, this is what we call a rational close question, where they will ask us in terms of the rationality of the sentence and how to use them or how to use the grammar in this passage. Now, for this one, okay, you have to identify which word is the best to fill in these things or to fill in these blank spaces. All right? You have to know the grammar parts in order for you to understand this. Now, hold up. I know that most students will say, Alamak, oh my God, I don't know. I mean, I'm terrible at English. I mean, I'm terrible at grammar. I can speak it very well, fluently, but then I forgot the grammar part. Don't worry, same. Well, when I was a student, I felt that as well. Okay, but there's a little trick. And you know what? I love doing this question with my students. Seriously, seriously. Because with this part number two, I can teach my students a lot. Seriously. All right? I can teach them past tense, present tense, future tenses. I can teach them about prepositions. I can teach them about the vocabulary, which one to use and all. Okay, a lot. Trust me. Because in this question, they ask about most everything. Okay, we don't know which one will come out. So we have to gather, we have to be able to remember everything, right? But you might want to say, oh, I don't have enough time to remember everything, all of the grammar parts. Don't worry. When we do this kind of question a lot, you'll get used to it. Trust me, serious. Because I've had my students, they say, oh, this is actually very easy. The trick is actually, they sound most of the time they sounded the same. They even have the same concept, like if you go through it again and again and again, you'll get used to it in no time. Okay? And next, this one. Okay. So part number three, it is for question 19 until 26, where it will be based on the following passage. So they will give you random passages, okay, but just only one lah, okay? And then, so for this one, you have to read this, and then you have to understand it. Now, you might want to see, oh my God, this is too long. I can't do this. It's gonna take hours to do this. Trust me, I got tricks for you. No worries. We can do this in around like maybe 10 minutes. We can. We will. And then, okay, for each of the questions here, they will be based on the passage. So, for example, in the beginning of the story, Leo was unhappy because in the beginning, you take a look at the first paragraph. And for this kind of question, we implement the technique of skimming and scanning. And then you say, what is this? I never heard of it. Don't worry, I'll tell you about it once we go through each one of them. Okay, and then after part number three, we have part number four. Well, okay, I gotta admit though, part number four, it is quite crucial. Quite crucial because most of the time, the students will make the most mistakes here. Based on my experience, okay, most of my students, they will say that this is the hardest part. This and then part number two. Right? Now, because why? Because sometimes we feel like, oh my God, A fits in here, B fits in here. And then how do I know which one fits the best? Don't worry, I got you. We got tricks. Okay, for part number four, questions 27 to 32, it will be based on, okay, this. Now, my advice is what I would do. Okay, again, this is my personal tips. All right. I'm not really sure about other teachers, but for me, this is what I do usually. So, part number four, I will read this first. Yes, I know. Okay, I will read the answers first. Then I will answer this. Why? So that I will be familiar with what the sentences are about. Then when I read this, oh, I have a little bit of memory of the sentences in here. Then I can answer part number four properly. All right. Don't worry, we'll go through it. And then part number five. Okay, part number five, questions 33 to 40, which it will be based on the following text. So here, you read them first and then you answer question. Now for this one, please be very careful. As you can see, using the information given, which text A to F describes the specific flowers, for each question, mark your answer on the answer sheet. So for this one, what do you need to do? You simply just write A or F. So for example, like this, A, E, F, C, just like this. Then you're good to go. Serious. Okay? But please be careful. Last one. Questions 37 to 40, which you have to choose no more than one word for each blank. Write your answers on the answer sheet. But also, look, using words from the text. You see here? No more than one word. Usually I will ask my students to highlight these things. Why? Okay, because it's very important. Because I've seen so many students, even though despite telling them for so many times, doing this a lot with them, they be doing the same mistakes. Annoying, yes, okay, now for this one, okay. Now, if let's say you don't have any highlighter, you don't have to waste your money. You don't have to ask your parents to buy a new one. No worries. Simply just underline them. God is gone. You underline them so you know that that is important that you have to focus on. Okay? All right. So that is all for my mock teaching. Thank you very much.